It's now in session. It's a one-member committee at the moment. I do know Mr. Smith is on his way, and I'm not too sure about, who's the third member here?
Mr. Alacon.
Richard Alacon. Okay, great. Okay, you have a motion before us.
Two
here.
of them,
Could
if
we
it's okay.
deal with the two Labange ones?
Which item are we talking
Six
about?
Well,
and eight.
one is number 6,
All right.
Labange and Garcetti. Another one is the banner business, not the banner business, the
Street banners.
item number 8.
Very good.
And then there's the beautification. That's which one is that?
Item number 9, I believe.
6 is the one, Keep America Beautiful.
There you go. Okay, we'll
Then
start.
we'll start with item 6 then.
Item 6, yeah.
Item number 6, motion Labange Garcetti relative to implementing the Keep Los Angeles Beautiful program and authorizing the acceptance of donations for funding said program.
Well, good
Mr. Chair, just want to thank, good afternoon. You all remember, as a young man, the campaign they had, Keep America Beautiful?
I sure
You
do.
probably remember that great,
It was the Lady Bird Johnson.
you got it all the way. And we're, Cynthia Ruiz, who's with our Board of Public Works, the president, has been the point person for the city. I, under your advice, have been the point person because of the involvement in community beautification for many years here in the council, you as the chair of the Public Works. So with this being said, we can move forward and establish help where we could focus resources and funds from the private sector to help to Keep America Beautiful. I was thinking, Mr. Rosendahl, as I traveled by my old high school, that they should have a requirement called California Leaves, like a class, and all the young students there at sometime during the school year should have to keep and maintain their properties around their schools just to have an environmental conservation engagement. I also believe, too, that litter is one of our biggest problems, and to remind people to keep America beautiful, keep Los Angeles beautiful is a great task. So I ask for support on this item, and I welcome Mr. Smith, your colleague from the
Yeah,
12th
we
District.
now have a quorum. Mr. Smith is here, and the purpose of this program, and tell me if this is accurate, is to provide an opportunity for residents to take greater responsibility for improving their communities via litter prevention, waste reduction, and other types of cleanup and beautification. The motion requests the Department of Public Works to, 1, implement the Keep Los Angeles Beautiful, that's KLAB program, as the lead agency. 2, foster public-private partnership, community outreach, communication strategies, etc., to ensure that the program is operated successfully. And 3, accept donations on behalf of the city for the KLAB program via the President of the Board of Public Works, which is Cynthia Ruiz, and expend such donations on program operations.
Great.
And we also have the Cynthia Ruiz has just showed up too.
Great. Did you hear us talking about you in the elevator, Cynthia?
No.
I'm talking about the leadership that you've applied here as the point person for the city. Mr. Chair, I'll turn the
That's
microphone
right,
back
the
to you.
elevator doesn't keep our messages on. We should get a squawk box in that elevator.
Oh, my God.
Well, good afternoon.
If I can please pass these down, pass them down to,
I believe we have the votes, Ms. Ruiz, but if you could just give them a brief update on them. I told them about your valuable role as the point person and what we should do here.
great. Everybody knows we joined Keep America Beautiful, an organization that's been around since the 1950s, and started Keep Los Angeles Beautiful in an effort to clean up the city of Los Angeles. That happened last year, and we actually participated or launched the Great American Cleanup. And I've given you a copy of the results over a 90-day period. So basically what Keep America Beautiful and Keep Los Angeles Beautiful, our goal is recycle, reuse, don't litter. So there's an advisory board that's been established, and the advisory board members, Councilmember Labange has a seat on that, Public Works Neighborhood Council representative that was elected by the neighborhood councils, the chamber has a seat, Business Improvement District, Carol Schatz has been involved. We have Steve McDonald from Film LA, we have a youth representative, we have a representative from the nonprofit, and we have the Office of Community Beautification. We have a senior citizen representative and an educational rep. So what we've been doing is getting together and figure out how do we launch a citywide campaign to keep Los Angeles beautiful in an anti-litter campaign. So obviously, one of our challenges has been funding. So we wanted to create a mechanism and have a council motion to give us a mechanism to allow funding to come in. As we all know, right now, it's very tough budget times, unfortunately, and we realize that, so we have to go to outside sources to try to get some money to really work on this anti-litter campaign. But for me, it was, why reinvent the wheel? Keep America Beautiful has been around forever. Why not join their efforts, which actually, when we participated in the Great American Cleanup, brought national sponsors that were able to give us some minimal funding. It was more in-kind services. So now as we move forward and get serious, I really want this campaign to be long-term campaign that really is ingrained in the city. And so it's all of us as a city family working together to see how we figure that out. I know some of the ideas that Councilmember Labange has talked about is right now, if you litter in the city, the ticket that you get is an outrageous amount, I think it's
$1,000.
$1,000.
They don't write it.
Yeah,
But
so,
our fine city attorney here is in the final stages of completing the draft, Mr. Pritzker, and that's going to lower it to what the fine would be for like a street cleaning ticket, $50, $55, so there's a comparable thing. And we're also going to try to start a broom campaign. Remember those great old black and white movies, you see those shopkeepers in New York sweeping the gutter?
Yeah, I remember that.
We should do that all over the city.
Sure, why not?
Take the gutter out, take the trash out of the gutter, it's out of the drain, it's out of the river, it's out of the ocean, it's out of the fish,
That's it.
and Charlie Tuna will smile. Yeah.
is Charlie's Tuna still around?
Sure is, he always is.
It sounds great. What else did you want to add?
Just, I think it's really going to take the entire city family to work together on these efforts. The first step is really having an assessment. I mean, we think we know who litters, but we want to go out with a survey, a litter survey, and make sure we know, so we're targeting the right audiences. According to Keep America Beautiful, the person that litters the most is a young male, ages like 15 to 25 in that age bracket.
We know who that guy is?
None of them
I
are
wish
here
I was
today.
25 again. I wish I was 25. I think one of the challenges, we go to a schoolyard, after nutrition period or after lunch period, it's sad to see how much trash, and I feel for the classified staff of any school, because they're always picking up. And I feel for the gardeners and caretakers of our park system. You go through Elysian Park, and it's great to see it, but or go through Griffith Park, great to see all the people using it. But come Monday, sometimes it's that instead of just taking and dumping the trash cans, they got to clean a whole area there. We got to have a great educational campaign.
Coordinate this with the LAUSD.
Oh,
Yeah, we can do
absolutely.
everything. We're partners.
Yeah.
Ms. Ruiz is very good at that, so we can move forward on that.
And sometimes it's about messaging, because when I was a little kid, don't be a litter bug still sticks in my mind. So we have to message, and it may be a different message for the new generation that's coming up, but we need to figure that out and make sure we're hitting the right audience.
And every time I have to pick up cigarette butts, I don't smoke. I think of my days in the Army, where my job was to pick up cigarette butts.
Right, except for those guys who smoke Pall Mall, and they just get rid of them altogether.
Mr. Smith.
But it really is going to be a citywide effort. We all need to work together, and I'm really excited about this.
It's a wonderful program.
Great.
If Tommy says it's good and you say it's good.
Well, thank you very much. And what we could do possibly, if you could, Mr. Chair, when it does come to council, Cynthia, let's give a 3-minute PowerPoint, boom, 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 because spring is coming, and we kick off, and one thing that has come yesterday in our discussion about neighborhood councils, and I think you could relate to this because of your years of service, that's a pipe. We had a consistency.
Sounds like a siren.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we had a consistent cleanups. Neighborhoods got involved for cleaning up. And they're not as in vogue anymore because they want to do policy, And I think we got to rebirth it. I was
Totally
thinking
agree.
of,
Let's make it.
what was the movie with Roy Schneider and Everything Old is New Again? It was a dance
Yeah,
movie.
all goes around,
What was
comes
it?
around.
I know, what was the name of the movie, though? Roy Schneider. Come on, it was on Broadway for many years. I can't think. I'm losing my touch.
Tom,
Yeah.
getting old. It's called
Right.
Senior Moments.
I know, I got it.
I was
Okay,
going around these days.
yeah.
So we have a motion on this.
Yeah.
What was the name of
We
that?
look forward to calling it special on the council floor. Prepare a presentation that gets everybody
3-minute
excited.
presentation.
Okay, so 3-minute presentation?
right.
Be more than happy to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Okay, that's
Thank
number
you.
6.
For
Cynthia,
your
thank you for your leadership. Great job.
Your inspiration.
Yeah.
And for the record, this item is scheduled for January 18th in council.
Thank you so much. January 18th in City
Great.
Council.
There's one more item, Mr. Chair, if I could take the
Yes, sir, of
indulgence. Mr. Clerk?
Are we going to number 8 then?
We're going to number 8.
All right.
Unless, it's the Labange Huizar, and let's hear what it is.
Item number 8, Joint Chief Legislative Analyst and Bureau Street Service Report in response to motion Labange Huizar relative to announcing events outside of the City of Los Angeles through the Street Banner Program. This was considered by the Arts, Parks, Health, and Aging Committee on November 7, 2007.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Smith, what drove me to this is an inquiry from our friends at the Huntington Library.
Yeah.
Huntington Library is a great resource in Southern California, and all of Angelino should know about it.
Yes.
But Huntington Library can't take advantage of the banner program because they're an agent, they're an organization outside the limits of the city.
Right.
I think there should be an exception for educational museums, institutes, such that, and I would just ask that we support that, because I think it would give them an opportunity so we could all share. All of us should go sometime this year to the Huntington Library and Gardens to enrich ourselves, as we should try to go to the Getty Center or the Observatory, wherever it might be.
Right,
That's
thank you, Tom. Let's ask staff. I have a few questions for them.
Staff,
on
okay,
this
staff.
issue. Okay, question number 1 is how many banner permits are issued annually by the city? As you're sitting down, think that one through.
Okay. Larry Morales for the Bureau of Street Services.
Right.
We issue out approximately 500 permits yearly regarding banner applications that are received by our bureau.
500. Okay, and second question, is there an estimate of the number of new banner permits that may be issued? And if new groups are allowed to participate in the city's street banner program?
We always accept new organizations, nonprofit organizations, to install banners within the city of LA. Of course, they can apply through our system, and the permits are issued out to them directly.
Third question is, under the current street banner program, how much does the city receive in annual revenue?
In annual revenue, we accept a $100 non-refundable application fee per application. So in regards to revenue regarding outside sources, that would definitely increase our revenue for the city of Los Angeles through our particular bureau.
Have we ever reviewed those dollar figures and to see if in the new age we can charge more?
In regard to charging through our system, that would have to go through another office in regards to do a study on that.
How long has it been this fee?
For approximately 8 years.
8 years. Could we go back and take a look and just see in the world we live in, if it's possible to, take another look at the fee structure and to see if we can alter it, and if we could, by how much, and come back with a recommendation on that?
Yes, I think that's feasible.
Great. Mr. Smith?
What percentage of the fees are waived?
For nonprofit organizations, none.
We've waived banner fees before.
Before the year 2000, that was in regards to the old ordinance. There was an ordinance change in the year 2000 that there would be no waivable fees for nonprofit organizations.
Just for city agencies.
That is correct. For city government, city agencies, there are no fees.
Now, have you considered any language on this? I have a real concern about allowing activities from outside the city of LA into our banner program, except for something of real value like the Huntington, which is obviously a great regional treasure. But I want to make sure we're not going to allow promotion of events from outside the city that may be going on, that may be sponsored by another nonprofit outside.
What if we say, and we could ask the CLA maybe to give us this before we get to council, that they be a museum or educational institute?
Has to be-
Let's just say Long Beach State has a major program that everybody in the South Bay would benefit from going to Long Beach State or Cal State Dominguez Hills, educational, or Cal State LA, which is 90% of it's in the city, so they would
We
qualify.
asked the CLA to come back with criteria that would work
I
for
don't want a
out-of-city
revenue
people.
Right.
like the aquarium in Long Beach.
Right.
I don't care.
No, but yeah, or you wouldn't want the Santa Clarita County Fair up there, promotion, but no offense to Santa Clarita. But you would want an institution that makes sense figure out.
Maybe
that.
you could, have to make a finding that there's a value.
Yeah.
in the city
In
value.
speaking with the city attorney on possibly amending the ordinance, we had to make sure that we weren't being discriminatory in any manner. So he advised that it would have to be all-inclusive of a 501c3 or all 501c6s or both, because there was a previous lawsuit against the city in which a street banner permit wasn't issued when, in fact, they fell under the appropriate guidelines to receive a permit. So we just have to be careful in how we word the language, because it can't be discriminatory.
Let me mention what we have here as potentially what it would be, and tell me if this all makes sense. That the city approve the motion of Labange Weezer directing the Bureau of Street Services and the Chief Legislative Analyst to report on permitting institutions and organizations outside the city to participate in the street service banner. That's the motion. We would approve that. Second is request the city attorney to prepare and present an ordinance amending, and all the gobbledygook of that, to allow for all 501c3s and C6s organizations to announce events administered by such organizations, regardless of location, throughout the city street banner program, which really is too wide open.
Yeah, and I have a problem with C6s, because that can be a Kiwanis Club from Monterey Park is having a festival, big deal.
Yeah.
It's nice for Monterey Park, but who cares?
So I don't know about that one, okay?
No, totally.
Yeah, C3s is perfect, but C6.
We had included C6s. I know Larry had spoken about in previous years the outside organizations who had received permits. Whether it was Children's Hospital in Orange County or those organizations. So we just wanted to make sure that, we were not, being discriminatory. But we can look at, excluding the C6s.
We'll have to ask the city attorney if this conforms to the previous lawsuit.
Yeah.
We can do it with.
Yeah, but you guys would just be interested in including C3s.
I would, if it's legal to do. If it's not legal,
Yeah, well, we got to see. We got to see. I know we don't want to hurt our business, but I think if
ask Mr. Prisker to go do something.
educational institutes, public, and I don't know if there's any private ones, but museums, etc. And if you want to hold this for 30 days and come back, I'm good
Yeah,
with that.
what I'd like to do is take the concept and the spirit of this, of what you're hearing, interacting with the council members here, and come back with us. And the third one is instruct the Bureau of Street Services to report intermittently on the street banner program and any street light pole availability issues due to banner permits for nonprofit events located outside of the city of Los Angeles. So we're going to give you this as instructions. Come back. You think 30 days is okay?
Yeah,
Can
20
we all deal
working
with
days,
that?
that's 30 days.
Okay, and come back in 30 days.
Good.
So
Mr.
Some-
One more act of business, if I could, Madam
Bless you. Thank you for
Madam
everything,
Chair. I'm
Tommy.
just with Miss
You
Anna.
do
don't you
for our
sit up
great
here?
city.
No, I don't want to sit anymore.
Oh, we miss you anyway.
One of the great.
I thought you were still sitting here.
I know. I went back. Why was that on my calendar?
That's our Commerce Committee that we have some.
One of the great, I'll give you, this is a tough question. This is a tough question for you, Mr. Rose. I got one answer here. There's a great resident of the 11th District in this room.
Yes, I do know, and her name is Barbara Goldenberg.
She's the greatest of all. There
Yes,
was
she
some
is.
joy that I had, Mr. Smith, when I worked with Mr. Reardon as mayor and planting trees and beautifying the West Los Angeles area. Give a big hand for Barbara Goldenberg right here. Good to see you, Barbara.
In fact, Mr. Labange, she's planted more trees than the Million Tree Program.
Well, that's good. And I would hope, Barbara, maybe one time this spring you could bring some of your group up to Griffin Park and help us replant Griffin Park from the fire. That'd be fun. We could do that. We did a 47 tree plant just last Saturday, Mr. Rosendahl.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, we honored and remembered the first tree for the late, great Johnny Grant.
How about one for your mother again in Griffith?
Well, when he gets back, we're going to get that done. I'll take care of that.
I
Always
wanna go
take
to
care of
that.
him. All right, thank you, Mr. Smith and Mr. Rosendahl, you beautiful people, as well as the staff here. Thank you.
So are you, Tommy. Thank you so much. Okay. Indeed, I wanted to acknowledge Barbara. She's going to get a hug from Mr. Labange. Okay, now we have some consent items here, Mr. Smith, that if you agree, we want to move forward with them. It's item number 1, item number 2, item number 3, item number 1, 2, and 3, and then item number 5, No, yeah, item number 5. Item number, obviously, 6, we've done already, and 8, we've done. So, is there anybody in the room who doesn't agree on moving forward with item number 1, 2, 3, and 5, representing any of those areas? I'm talking about the vacations on item number 1, vacations on item number 2, vacation on item number 3. That's CD 8, 9, and 3. Is there anybody against that? Vacations in those 3 districts, in those 3 areas? Ms. Smith, we got a motion to move them forward? So we have just approved 1, 2, and 3. 5, I just want to know a little bit more from the sanitation sewer easement for item number 7. So I'm not going to run with that yet for a second. Okay, Roz?
Oh, sure.
Item number 5, 6 we've done, and 8 we've done. Okay. Item number 4.
Right. Just a moment, Mr. Chair.
It's the city engineer report relative to the vacation of the L-shaped alley between Hope Street and Grand Avenue.
Yep. Just to reiterate, item number 4, city engineer report relative to the vacation of the L-shaped alley between Hope Street and Grand Avenue and 11th Street and 12th Street, vacation number E1401067.
Serge Haddad, the Bureau of Engineering. We had an applicant who said that they needed, We had an applicant who needed to get more information in the documents of the adjacent property owner. So we just need to continue it for the next meeting so we can just fix that correction.
So move, Ms. Smith. Done. Thank you on that one. That's item number 4. Okay, item number 5.
Item number 5 was previously approved. If you want to revisit that, Mr.
Well, I put it on hold just to have it discussed a little bit.
Okay. Item number 5, city engineer report and ordinance relative to the quitclaim of sanitary sewer easement and slope easement for Foothill Boulevard, easterly of Balboa Boulevard, adjacent to lots 1, 2, and 3 of tract number 45863, right-of-way number 36000-1573.
Any comments from anybody on staff on this one?
No objections.
No objections. Mr. Smith, want to move with that one? That's item number 5. So moved. Okay. Moving right along. What's left?
That would leave items number 7 and item number 9.
Okay. For respect from Barbara, we'd like to have item number 9 now.
Item number 9 is a discussion item, Community Forest Advisory Committee to make a presentation in regard to the city's urban forest and related matters.
We want to get you in and out before the gridlock hits, so come on up. Yeah.
Rick Mayer is our vice
Great.
chairman.
Great. Just have a seat and introduce yourself and tell us who's with you, and we're looking forward to this report. We got Rick Mayer and Christine? Christian. Yes, that's me. I'm pretty dumb. Barbara, introduce us to your folks, and we look forward to it.
Rick Mayer is a landscape architect, and he's our vice chairman. Claire, our chairman, was sorry she couldn't be here today. And Christian Kilke is also a landscape architect.
Report. Tell us what's up.
Rick is making the report.
Very good. Very good.
Well, thank you for the opportunity of coming. We've looked forward to this for maybe about a month and a half when we found out. We're public members participating on the Community Forest Advisory Committee, representing specific council districts and appointed by the mayor. My name's Rick Mayer. I'm a landscape architect. I've been on the committee for several years. And Kristen Kilkell and Barbara Goldenberg are members representing your district, Councilman. And I remember many years ago your participating in my class at UCLA, so it's really nice to see you again. It was on landfill issues, so it's very appropriate.
Very good.
I'm still talking on that.
I know. It does.
That's doing great, by the way. He's actually getting things done.
Well, that issue, of course, doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So, but there are a number of items that we wanted to bring to your attention and just bring up for discussion. One of the things that we wanted to say that we've accomplished over the last year is the Native Tree Protection Ordinance. We expanded that and redefined it, and we think that it's a better legislative tool now. And then in addition to that, a number of years ago, trees were made part of the infrastructure as defined in the general framework, and that's a big deal because trees and the urban forest do a lot of good in so many different ways. I won't go into all those, but we all know about them. And so making that part of our infrastructure, recognizing it as part of the infrastructure so that when we do any new projects, trees and vegetation become part of the decision-making process and not a subsequent afterthought. So that's important. What I would like to also say is that for the current year of 2008, we have 4 goals that we're working on now. And one of the goals is to ensure that that when trees are required as part of a new project, that they're actually planted. And it's a sort of a complex issue, and one of the things that we've been looking at is the process on how this is done, what divisions and departments in the city work on that, and we've come to the conclusion that the best way to ensure that the trees are planted when they are a condition of the project is not to give the certificate of occupancy until the trees are actually planted. So we have a handout which I'll give to you later which outlines exactly the issue and what our recommendation is and how that can work.
In that context, City Attorney, can we kind of then, assuming we agree on that concept, or work it into the planning department's role and
building and
process?
safety.
And building and safety? It's a great idea.
Keith Pritzker, City Attorney's Office. The short answer is yes, and you may want to also, when staff looks into this, look into at least some term of maintenance after the planting.
I think that's excellent. And let's come up with a way in which we can create an ordinance and a rule that throws it into the proper basket, building and safety, and maybe planning. The question, sir, on that particular point, the trees must be the New Day trees. We don't want no ficuses anymore.
The New Day trees.
The trees that are
Right.
obviously with the drought we're in and complement projects rather than tear up sidewalks.
Absolutely. They really need to be appropriate to water conservation,
How do we make that part of
infrastructure.
the rule?
Well, the trees are only the actual tree selection. If you look closely at it, the actual tree selection is made by the Urban Forestry Division. So it's a city decision.
That's only on the street trees, though, and it's not on the interior property trees.
That's correct.
So the developer can come in and say, I'm going to put up, pine trees if he wants or something. And that's not on our list, but they can choose inside what they want.
Right. They have the ability to choose inside.
But can we make that also within the water resistant and the ecological issues?
Well, when you go in, there's 2 things going on here. What we were just speaking about and what I proposed prior to issuing a certificate of occupancy was for street trees in the public right-of-way. The trees that are planted as part of a project on private property go through a different review, which, as a landscape architect, I know it firsthand, we now are required to meet certain points according to the landscape ordinance, and we're always looking for trees that are appropriate that will gain us those points. And the plan is also reviewed by city departments. So again, there's a check and balance in terms of what might be proposed and what the city would say, well, that's not appropriate.
Are you finding developers living up to those proposed plans? Because I know one of the problems I've had is when they propose projects, they come in with these beautiful pictures, and it's always a gorgeous landscape. And that never really gets built. For whatever reason, those pictures are not part of the plan approval process. It's charts and graphs and feet and square feet and all that stuff. And so these great concepts aren't conveyed to the land use approval. And so developers, I've found many times don't build the things they promise in that respect, and we want to see that.
That's I think, a discussion that might take a little bit longer than we have today. I agree with you. I think
kind of
that,
asking if you find that happening.
you know, what I'm finding more and more is our clients, knowing the issues that confront them in getting projects approved, we're more and more credible as landscape architects. They're giving us much more leeway to make the decisions and not take away at the end of the process something. And also, we have to certify that the project has been installed in substantial compliance. So I don't put my signature on that certificate of compliance if the project hasn't been properly installed, because it's my liability with the city. It's you know, part of the city documents. So I can only speak personally, but it is a problem. Glitzy drawings and glitzy photographs might sell a project, but it doesn't guarantee that that's what you're going to get. So yeah, it is a problem.
City Attorney, what can we do about that?
Again, Keith Pritzker, City Attorney's Office. I'm aware that this has been a problem in other jurisdictions in LA County. There was an article in the LA Times about 2 or 3 years ago that talked about a portion of the county where many projects were approved, a lot of mitigation measures were required, and more than half the time the mitigation measures were never implemented. So we need to have some teeth to make sure that these mitigation measures are implemented. Sometimes it's a matter of the agency that's charged with the responsibility for making sure that those mitigation measures are done, not having adequate staff to check up on it. Personally, I like this idea of linking it to certificates of occupancy, because certainly the people that are building the project have a concern about it. But I'm going to do what the council directs us to do, and I think that if all the staff in the city put our heads to this matter, we'll come up with a vehicle for making sure that many of these amenities that are important to our quality of life don't fall through the cracks.
Okay, can you take a 30-day period and do that and bring it back to us so that we can craft something out of here to take to the council?
Yes, but I need you to pass a motion to direct the city attorney to do that.
Yeah, we'll pass a motion.
Okay.
Motion passed? Okay. Motion has been passed. We look forward to seeing that happen. That was number one. Number two.
Well, there was something else I wanted to bring up. Obviously, there are all sorts of enforcement issues, not only on this, but across all city issues. The other thing is when we have review bodies, for instance, local land use committees that are part of neighborhood councils, the better qualified those committees are, the better they can review those plans at the local level. And in our case, in Sherman Oaks, we had a landscape architect, an architect, a land use lawyer, a traffic engineer. We had a very professional, I would say, very high-level group reviewing the plans. There was a glitch, though. Once we approved the plan, we had asked if we could come get, and then the plan was submitted to the city. We wanted to be able to get the plans back to see if it was approved according to what we had recommended, if there had been further changes, what was the final approval. And further than that, and going to your question, was it actually implemented in the ground according to the plans? That's really hard to do. I don't really have an answer as to how the link from the beginning can be, how it can go back to the beginning to make sure that the cycle has been worked out.
The easy way to do that would be is if we have the ability, and I know you're not the land use section, but the ability to attach the drawings to a land use approval and say this goes to the final C of O. And if it doesn't match up, we don't give that C of O.
Yes, and that's been done with different projects.
But is it attached to the C of O? Is it just attached to?
Well, no, it hasn't been attached to the C of O. And I think it may take us a little more than 30 days to work this out, because we're going to have building and safety staff, in addition to staff from my office, and the Urban Forestry Division of Street Services to sit down together to look at the
What,
current...
60 days?
Yeah, I think 60 days would be more realistic.
Okay.
For us to figure out what the current process is and how we can modify it to make sure that, that especially these landscaping concerns are being completed.
Very good. Great.
Then the other thing that we've been trying to promote in cooperation with the Urban Forestry Division is that the tree cycle for pruning is reduced, and with the goal of trying to get about 5 to 6 years, a 5 or 6 year cycle. It fluctuates a lot. It goes from 5 years to 20 to 25 years. It's an expensive item, but if we don't have a good tree trimming cycle, we increase our liability, our safety. There's safety issues associated with that. And so we feel that as part of the Urban Forestry Committee, that's an important component in terms of having a healthy urban forest, to have good
Our
tree
obvious
trimming.
problem is,
Money.
I know.
so how do we
Bad
deal
news
with
for
that?
you.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse at the moment.
Well, we'll have to put our heads together. I don't have an answer on that. I don't have an
If
answer.
you find one, you'll be a hero, because no one's come up with one yet, so including the department.
That all the money goes into emergency care and
Right. We're always on an emergency
I know.
basis. And then the last thing that we wanted to bring to your attention is that our committee is a little bit short-staffed, and we aren't fully, we don't have enough committee members representing the different council districts. So we have a little packet here, and one of the sheets is showing you which council districts are represented on our committee. And if it's possible to get active, knowledgeable people from all the council districts, that's the best of all worlds.
Question, 15 council districts, how many are now without representation on the committee?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Can we instruct somebody around here to contact those 5 offices and let them know there's vacancies and give them a description of what the thing is and let them, and get a
No, maybe
report back?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
6.
All right, so we're going to do that. We're going to go forward and,
This will have to be handled informally since this is only a discussion item, and we don't have a formal council file on this particular matter. So, at this point, this is kind of below the normal, below the radar, as it were.
okay, as chairman of the committee, we'll send a letter to the 6 council offices, help us draft it, and we'll get it out. Very
we
good.
need a representative and an alternate.
Yeah. Maybe, Barbara, you can help craft that letter with Laura in my office. Thank you.
That's the sum total of our presentation. I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to discuss these issues. We hope to come back with more information maybe in 3 or 4 months to your committee so that we have some kind of an ongoing relationship in order
Yeah,
to
and
get
we
this
look
thing-
forward to that because, you know, the old Joyce Comer thing, I think she'll never see. As lovely as a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in its hair. Did you want to say something?
No, just thank you very much.
Okay. Well, again, you are a treasure to all of us in the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
And last question I have for you, if you have an analysis of this, of the 15 council district, could you rank them as to who's got more trees than the others? Because, no, I mean this seriously, as we get into this climate issue here, we talk about the lungs of the planet, we talk about the greening, and we talk about the air and the quality and all that. Trees play a major role. Who's up, who's down, and where are we?
George Gonzalez was going to be, we forgot to call him.
Well, it's
But, they would have that information, I think, about each council district.
well, there was just a canopy cover analysis and a GIS document that was prepared. So that information is to the detail available, and not only per council district, but exactly how much cover there is, what percentage, and so on.
Could you get back to us with that data and to our staff so we can give our colleagues information in their districts and challenges for them to meet on
That'd
that?
be great. And I've printed up, yeah, That's right. And I've printed up the things that we discussed today so that you'll have some written information on our goals, a brochure about the committee, the issue for the city attorney on the compliance with street trees and the public right-of-way and the certificate of occupancy, and then also the illegal street tree pruning, and if we have a better pruning cycle, and that would also help that issue.
I think that's fabulous, and what we'd like to do in 60 days, when the attorney comes back with all of this codified and worked out, we'll then move forward from the committee, and we'll take it to the full council, and then we look forward to you coming before the full council and explaining this. And also, we want to give a packet of goodies to each council member that would include the things that we've talked about so that they have an easy reference.
Appreciate it. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
One quick thing, there's 960 oak trees in Sunshine Canyon landfill were part of the mitigation for the dump. And they're looking for homes for them because we haven't found enough places to put them. So if you've got a project coming up that would want oak trees, the California oaks are nice.
That's great.
Again, thank you for your service to the community. And thanks for educating him. You did a good job.
Was Arnie Berghoff, wasn't it, that I debated? I debated Arnie Berghoff in your class?
Yes,
I remember that.
Yeah, I just want to say
good
CFAC
debate.
is like a stealth committee nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And we would like not to be so
Stealth.
secret.
Okay.
And we're going to be happy to do that when it goes before the full council. Channel 35 will be covering it. And if you think you could do a little presentation of sorts that you think would make value to that, we look forward to working with you on that.
Great. Thank
We
you.
are getting a new website set up. That'll be accessible to the public, too.
Fabulous. Let us know that. Hopefully you'll have that when we come before council. Great.
Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you.
That leaves us with item 7. You should go forward with that. Item number 7, Board of Public Works report relative to relief from accountability for lost petty cash during the period of 1999 through 2004.
Good afternoon. I'm Craig Bloomquist, Director of Public Works, Office of Accounting. And this is, as you can tell, a catch-up item since the period of this petty cash loss was 1999 through 2004. And the ad code of the city does require departments to come to the council to get approval for relieving the accountability for any lost amounts of petty cash. We're talking about just about $875 of 5 individual losses. And to give you a perspective, our total Department of Public Works petty cash is around $46,000, and we have them in 30 separate accounts in the various Public Works bureaus, and we average about 2,100 transactions a year at an average amount of around $30. But obviously, no one wants to see any petty cash or any kind of cash lost. So we do take these losses very seriously, and in each instance, the losses have been reported to the Controller's Office, and the bureaus where the losses occurred have explained the circumstances surrounding and related to the losses.
So what do you think it is?
It's various. It varies in each situation. In one case, it was related, in the case of the Bureau of Engineering, it was related to a transition of organizations where they restructured, and they actually, when we did our petty cash count, we noticed that they didn't report this particular account, and so we asked about it, and it turned out that a search was conducted, and they found some money in a safe that was labeled petty cash, and there was a cash register that they forced open. They found some more cash, but the end result was they were short around $227. In another case, again, a change in organization from one division to another division. The new division manager didn't realize they had a petty cash fund, could not be located after extensive searching. So we took this opportunity when we went to the Board of Public Works for this report, which is being forwarded to the council here, to send a letter to all the bureau heads reminding them of their responsibilities under petty cash, how they need to keep cash in a secured, locked location, how they need to assign a responsible person for this fund, and if there's any change in that custodian, that needs to be reported to us in the Office of Accounting, and that they should be conducting surprise cash counts as well. Once a year, the Controller's Office does conduct an audit of all of our Public Works petty cash funds, just like they do for every department in the city.
Couple of quick questions. Is this customary to request city council to relieve you of the accountability for petty cash shortages?
It's a requirement under the ad code. The Controller's Office can relieve accountability up to $100, but when it exceeds $100, we do need to come to the council.
And is it other city departments relieved from petty cash shortages in the same manner?
Yes.
Is this all? Okay, those are my questions.
Smith? Yeah, I just, it's really not an extraordinary loss over 5 years, quite frankly, but it is a loss, and it shows sloppy record keeping. And so I would hope that, I like what you said you did as far as you're requiring the GMs, the Bureau GMs, to be responsible and have a name. But that person that is named should be held accountable as well. And we ought to tell them if the money is entrusted to them, and if it isn't returned or receipts returned, they are liable for it. And we wouldn't even have to do this anymore. And we ought to make an employee who's got cash, city's treasury, in their hands, responsible for it. I've gone on trips for the city, and I couldn't produce receipts, and you know what? It came out of my pocket.
And I think we've done the same thing on our side here.
So you take Mr. Smith's thing and put it in the letter, make it a little tougher?
No. Can we do that? Can we make the city employee responsible for the cash?
We might have an employee relations issue in that situation.
I don't know if it's an MOU requirement or what, but, yeah.
Actually, in one case,
Give him the mic.
actually, in one case, one employee voluntarily put $100 into
that's
this
good.
petty cash. When she found out that she's responsible,
Yeah.
she took upon herself to do that.
You won't find that in every case, though. So,
Well,
MOU issue?
Yeah, I think it may be an MOU issue. However, it's probably one that we ought to look at. Certainly, all of us are familiar with the way that supermarkets and other retail establishments operate, and whoever's at the cash register is responsible for the money in the till.
Yeah, can we look
Check it
into
out,
that
check
and
it
see
out.
how generic it is for all the other departments in the situation?
And you've got-
This poultry might be a lot more.
Yeah, and you've
Yeah,
got General
but-
Services who handles a lot of
Yeah,
money in the parking lots, and
We can, but it does always help if it starts with a direction from this committee.
you are
And
so directed, sir.
thank. Well, no, direct the city attorney's office, because we may be having somebody say from the labor part of our office coming back to address that to you.
I think it'd be, and probably have to talk to CAO about MOU requirements too, obviously.
Because I dare say, if we did a survey, other departments, it starts adding up, and it might not look like less than $1,000. It might look like a lot more, too.
I remember one case with General Services, I think we ended up waiving $9,000 in 1 year for the parking lots at Alvera Street, so.
Wow.
It can be very large. That's not your department, fortunately.
Fortunately.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Welcome.
that. Now, we see a gentleman here with his visitors. Do we have any public speaking cards?
No public speaker cards have been submitted.
Report back, how long do you need?
60 again?
No, it's been 45.
45. Great.
Such a deal.
Say 15 more days. Great.
So will the committee then be continuing item 7 for a period of 30 days?
45 days.
45 days, as it were.
Right. Anybody from the public wanting to speak? We have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Committee meeting is now over.